In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Wednesday, June the 3rd in the year of our Lord 2015, as we begin to roll along. We're just getting over the hump day and roll down into the weekend. Now, I don't know what is going on today. But the technology seems like it's been on the fritz. The internet and stuff like that. I don't know. All of my computers are slow, when it comes to Google or when it comes to Firefox. My phone was acting a little bit strange. In fact, the battery drained faster than it normally does. And I checked it. It's not running anything in the background, anything more than it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the planets are aligned in a certain way today, or what have you. But it's been a rather strange day for technology, and I've got backups going now, so bear with me because I don't know what's going to happen with the program tonight. As far as technology end is concerned, it's working on its own. It's got a mind of its own. I don't know what because when I first came on, I'm looking at the sound levels, and I couldn't get the sound levels up. And now all of a sudden, the sound levels are through the roof. I don't know. A computer that normally isn't slow. It's slower than my oldest computer, which is like, now it's almost a decade, 10 years old. 9 years old now, almost a decade. So it's kind of a strange day for technology. I don't know are we being attacked? Is there some sort of cyber attack going on? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I know over the past couple of weeks there have been stories about how dissatisfied Americans are with their ISP and broadband and cable providers. And it's not something that's new. I love how they make it sound like, well, this is new. How Americans just don't like their cable company. No, it's not new. Sorry to hate to inform you, but it's not new. This has been, and look, the reason why they're in the position that they're in is because of government. Cable companies are basically a monopoly because of government allowing them to be, and actually fostering the monopoly. So, that is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, did you hear about this school kitchen manager who got fired? And this is out in Denver. She was fired for giving. Now, understand, she's a school cafeteria manager, school lunch cafeteria manager, and we're out in Denver, Colorado. So I mean, hey, man, it's the capital of the, in this country, it's this country's capital state for pot smokers, man. I heard something about. When over the first year of the California legalized pot law, that the state had a burgeoning number of people who were considered to be rich or wealthy financially, and you're talking cash basically, and a lot of these people opened up and were owning these supposed dispensaries. And they needed to know what to do with all their newfound cash wealth. And so that there were financial companies that were actually beginning to cater to these people. And I guess, hey, if you're gonna, some of them are doing, $1 million businesses over there in good old Colorado. But anyway. If you're going to get into, hey, supply and demand. Now, there's capitalism at its finest right there. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Capitalism at its finest. Supply and demand. If you have a supply of something that the public is demanding, you can sell it to the public. And if the demand is high enough, you can sell a lot of it to the public. And if you sell a lot of it to the public, you can make a lot of money. And if you make a lot of money, I don't know, well, you're obviously going to pay a lot in taxes, but I think, there may be a boon out there as far as tax revenue, both to the Colorado State Treasury as well as the IRS, the United States Treasury, coming out of Colorado. Because let's face it, people will always buy what they want. They'll buy what they need for sure. But they'll also buy what they really, really want, even if they don't need it. Which is why, if you got somebody who really likes alcohol, they may not be able to regularly afford it, but they'll buy it because that's what they really, 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 really want. So if you have somebody who's into smoking the doobie, and they really, really want it, then they will buy it. And if you get enough people who really want it and will spend the money to buy it, then you can make a mint, or as they say, you can make bank. And that's exactly what they're doing now out in Colorado. Now, you can't really, blame people who, well, I suppose in certain instances you probably can blame them, but you can't really blame the entrepreneur for wanting to make a buck. They're simply supplying a product and service that people are demanding. And if people didn't want it, if they didn't seek it, then all of those dispensaries and pharmacies, if you will, out there in Colorado would go out of business. They wouldn't have any customers. Now, I know that there are people, they're thinking, well, we just can't legalize drugs, Rod. Well, yeah, we can. And let me explain to you why. Now, I know I've mentioned this before, but tonight I'm going to try to explain it. Look, marijuana, hemp. It comes in many forms. There's industrialized versions. By the way, if you're concerned about people getting high on marijuana pot, then fine, I get it. But why make it all illegal? Why can't we have industrial hemp? It has a number of excellent uses. Canada found this out. So why not allow for industrial hemp? And the reason why marijuana and its cousins, hemp, are illegal have nothing to do with the drug effects of the plant, the weed. It was a naturally growing plant. It wasn't something that was regularly cultivated in the Americas. It's a weed. And it grew on its own, much like, wild artichokes. Grew on its own. Until somebody figured out, well, hey, we can cultivate this stuff. But the problem wasn't the mind altering and body altering aspects of the drug. This was put in place, this ban was fostered by and helped to be put in place by none other than William Randolph Hearst. Now, you have to understand that William Randolph Hearst, he was a big newspaper publisher. He owned a lot of big city newspapers all over the country. Back in the day when the newspaper was king as far as the media was concerned in the news, people turned to the newspaper. They wanted to know what the news was. They needed to know. They needed to be informed. It was the newspaper, and there was a lot of competition. And if you owned a newspaper, you were somebody. If you owned a bunch of newspapers, oh my God, you were really somebody. And William Randolph Hearst was definitely a somebody. Now, along with those newspapers, William Randolph Hearst also had timber and paper interest. In other words, he needed the mills, the paper mills, and the timber to produce the paper for his publications and newspapers across the country. But he also produced, paper for other companies as well. It meant a lot of money to him. Now, back in his day, there was this notion that, hey, there can be competition to wood pulp paper, and it's called hemp paper. And the one thing about hemp paper, it has aspects that over wood pulp is that it doesn't take as long to grow hemp as it does trees. It's far more renewable, hemp is, than trees are. It's a weed. It can be quickly cultivated. It takes less energy and effort to turn hemp fiber, I guess, into paper than it does wood pulp. And on the advantages go. So that means that William Randolph Hearst obviously saw a major competitor to his wood pulp paper business. Well, he owned a bunch of newspapers. And he started editorializing about how bad marijuana was. Now, understand, Native Americans had been using marijuana for various aspects and various reasons for centuries before Europeans got here. They didn't abuse it, but they did use it. And a lot of times when people were smoking the peace pipe, they were smoking pot. That was the tobacco. It was pot. Look, this is documented fact, folks. This is documented historical fact. So you combine William Randolph Hearst with making wild accusations in the editorials about pot because he wants it banned so it doesn't pose a competition to his wood pulp industry, as well as needing to be able to control at that particular time the Native American population in wanting them to become more industrialized and more Western and more American and to leave their old cultures behind. And again, this is documented historical fact of what America tried, the federal government tried to do to the Native American Indians. Now, back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, in fact, you can look at some of the pictures and see where they actually tried to turn them, especially the children. They sent children; they were forbidden to speak in their native tongue. They were taught English. They had their hair cut, and they were put in Western American type clothes. They looked like little boys and girls out of the big city. So this is what they were trying to do, and one of the things that they were trying also to do is to make it more difficult for Native Americans to be able to practice their traditions and their religions. And one of the things was also marijuana, peace pipe, tobacco. That's basically what it was. It was also used in certain rituals, in shamanistic rituals, and it was used in sometimes it was used in the sweat lodges that certain tribes used in practice. It wasn't abused by Native Americans, but it was used. So that had to be cut out. So we got to this point, and it's all the same around the same time as what? Alcohol was being looked at as being very, very bad. And we know what happened to that. We had a constitutional amendment that banned liquor in this country. So again, it was stuff that was we were lied to about. Liquor is the devil, man. It's going to cause all it. If we get rid of liquor, it's going to cure all our ills. And and by getting rid of liquor, what did we do? We gave rise to organized crime in the United States. We made them rich and powerful. And this is exactly what we're doing with pot. It's no different. And now we're coming along where some states are saying, well, maybe we should just finally legalize this stuff. Why? Because we're arresting too many people who just smoke it. They don't grow it or distribute it. All they do is smoke it. They buy it and they smoke it. Why the hell would you spend so much time and money and effort in your police force to try to find and stop and arrest people who smoke it? And then sometimes, too many times, if you're caught too many times smoking it, they actually throw you in jail. Where the American people then have to do what? Pick up the tab for this person. Why do we do that? All based on two false notions and accusations from way back in the day. One, because, hey, it's a competition to William Randolph Hearst's Wood Pulp, and it's going to get rid of part of the aspect of Native American culture, so we can westernize all the Native Americans here, so we can get rid of the reservations, and so we can have their land. That's what it was about, folks. Getting rid of Native American reservations so that the land could be sold off. That's what it was. It was called assimilation. That's what it was all about. And you have to you're able to do that if you start taking apart certain parts of people's culture. So that is why pot and marijuana and hemp is illegal in this country to this day. Because nobody wants to stand up and say, well, this is the, I don't know why, because they stood up and said, well, prohibition for alcohol was kind of a mistake. Big time. So why they're not doing the same thing for pot, maybe some people are, is beyond me. Now, I don't smoke the stuff. I'm not going to, suggest that people smoke it, but it's kind of like tobacco. If you want to smoke cigarettes, go ahead. Because contrary to modern belief, no, pot really isn't all that evil as they say. Yes, there are certain aspects where, some people become a little bit more, you can say lazy if you want to, less ambitious. But it's not pot. It's not just pot that does that. There are a lot of legal drugs that do that. And hell, if you drink alcohol all the time, that'll do that to you. But it's not just pot that does that. Again, don't believe me, look it up. You'll find out. You'll find out that everything I'm saying is true. We've been lied to about this. It's not the first time we were lied to about alcohol. So, but even if everything negative that they said is true about marijuana, then why would you still have hemp, which has no hallucinogenic properties to it whatsoever, but has a plethora of industrial and commercial uses? Why would you prevent that from being grown and sold in the United States? And don't tell me because you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, because other countries allow it. Canada, for one, they can tell the difference. So again, you have to look at everything, and you have to say, well, you have to scratch your head and say, maybe there's more to this, like Rod is saying. Of course there's more to it, like I'm saying. And the whole notion that look, especially in this country when we're supposedly looking for all kinds of alternatives to the regular industrial revolution standards, we don't seem to be using a lot of them. And a lot of these alternatives are better for the environment, but we're not using them not simply because they don't work or because they're too expensive, but because government makes it difficult for one, or plainly there really just isn't a market for it. But when there is a market, why do we make it so expensive and so difficult to utilize? It's kind of like bamboo. Do you know how long it took bamboo flooring to get into this country to be a stable price, affordable price for the average person? It took a long time. And bamboo flooring is tough. And it's a good alternative to a regular, a standard wood floor. But for whatever reason, it seemed to take this country forever to get it. And it had to do with a number of different reasons, including, government getting in the way. So we got to get out of this mode of, because I'm hearing people talking about, the solar industry now. About, well, the government should, keep up its subsidy. Why should the government keep up its subsidies? Let the subsidies go. Force them to bring the price down so it is more affordable, so it is more efficient, so more people will want it, so more people will buy it, and so more people will utilize it. Right now, you're keeping it on the fringe, and I know that's what some people like. Because they like to think that they're smarter, brighter, and better than everybody else, so they want to keep solar power on the fringes because, then they're counterculture and because they don't want to be mainstream. Leftists don't want to be mainstream. No. As soon as something decides to go mainstream, then all of a sudden leftists are against it. And if you don't believe me, how about windmills? Remember, windmills are part of clean energy, right? So we're supposed to, embrace windmills. And so somebody wants to build a large windmill farm off the coast where there's a constant breeze that'll constantly be blowing on these windmills and have them constantly rotating and constantly producing power. And now who comes out of the woodwork? Oh no, these things are going mainstream. So these leftist environmentalist bird-loving wackos have decided that windmills kill too many birds. And I don't know about you, but those things are huge and they're noisy. And no bird, if a bird gets killed by a windmill, then the bird is stupid. The bird is going to be scared away by the noise. I've seen it happen. They don't get close to those things. But of course, now it's mainstream, so we can't have it be mainstream because then if it's mainstream, then the leftists lose their power in their fight. So, you know what? Maybe that's what we should do with pot, too. We should just say, okay, we're going to stop the war on illicit drugs, especially pot, make it legal all over the country. And I bet you that the leftists out there, the leftist radicals, will turn away from it because now it's mainstream and they're not going to want to have anything to do with it. And then guess what? The demand for the product is going to go down. A lot of dispensaries are going to go out of business, and you solve your problem without using any cops. It's a beautiful plan, and it'll work.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles. If you wish to give me a ring or a buzz or a call, just dial toll-free 603-835-3224 and join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. I'd love to hear from you. Now to get on to the story that I started out with but didn't quite get to because of all the other wonderful stuff that the left is doing to all of us, doing to us, I should say, not doing for us, doing to us, is this wonderful woman out in Colorado, Aurora, Colorado. This is from Denver.cbslocal.com story, and it's about Della Curry. Now, Della, Della Curry, Curry, is out of work, but she's unashamed after being fired by the Cherry Creek School District. Now, she's a married mother of two. She's a former kitchen manager at Dakota Valley Elementary School in Aurora. Now, you got to pay attention to this. This woman got fired. Now, Colorado is not exactly a conservative stronghold. Let me just say it that way. Now, she lost her job last Friday, after giving school lunches to students who didn't have any money. She said, "I had a first grader in front of me crying because she doesn't have enough money for lunch. So yes, I gave her lunch." Now, in the district of Dakota Valley Elementary School in the Cherry Creek School District, students who fail to qualify for the free lunch program or the reduced lunch program. Now, listen to this, folks. Yeah, are you kidding me? I know some people are saying, well, what, Rod? What did they do? Listen, pay attention to this, folks. This is why local elections matter too. Because this is supposed to be all about the children. Now, if a parent did this, a parent would be accused of neglect or child abuse. In fact, we've seen parents be brought up on these kind of charges for doing less than this. This is what is happening out in Cherry Creek School District in Colorado. In the district, in the Cherry Creek School District, students who fail to qualify for free lunch or who fail to qualify for the reduced lunch program, this is what they get if they don't have any money with them. You know, no, here you go, Johnny. There's an IOU. You just tell your parents, and you bring the money in tomorrow or next week, what have you. No. We're going to feed you, Johnny. We're going to, because it's all about the children, right? We're supposed to be feeding the children, right? Yeah, it's all about the kids, right? Until a leftist decides what the rules are. Then if you break a leftist rule, you're in big, deep doo-doo. So if you don't qualify for the free lunch or the reduced lunch program and you don't have any money and you're an elementary school kid in Cherry Creek School District out in Colorado, what you'll get for lunch is one slice of cheese on a hamburger bun and a small milk. Let me repeat. You will get, if you do not qualify for the free lunch program or the reduced lunch program and you do not have any money for lunch that day and you're an elementary school student in the Cherry Creek School District in Colorado, the great state of Colorado, where they have, pot dispensaries where they could pay for all kinds of things, you will get one slice of cheese on a hamburger bun and a small milk, and they'll tell you, that's lunch, kid. Now, Curry says that the meal is not sufficient. Many times she's paid for the lunches out of her own pocket. Now, this is what this woman says right now. This is a quote. Quote, I'll own that I broke the law. Unquote. It's the law out there in Cherry Creek School District in Colorado that if you don't qualify for the free lunch and you don't qualify for the reduced lunch program and you're an elementary school, a school student in the Cherry Creek School District at this school, Dakota Valley Elementary School, and you don't have enough money or you don't have any money that day, that you get one slice of cheese slapped on a hamburger bun and you get a small milk to wash it down and you're told, that's a nutritious lunch, kid. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hello? She says the law needs to be changed. Oh, you think? It's a law, folks. And now, if you sent your child to school with one slice of cheese on a hamburger bun and a thermos full of milk, and a teacher saw that while your kid was eating that in the lunchroom, and the kid said, well, this is all I have to eat, you would be having a knock on your door from Child Protective Services accompanied by a cop or a sheriff's deputy. They're going to want to inspect your home, inspect your refrigerator, your kitchen. They're going to want to talk to your kids without you around. They might even decide, well, we're going to take the kid out of your house tonight, and we'll have a hearing tomorrow. You'd be brought up on child abuse charges. But the law in Colorado says, well, hey, if you send your kid to school with this kind of lunch, you're a neglectful parent. But if your kid loses his money, the bully takes his money, forgets his money, what have you, doesn't have enough for lunch, then this is the kind of lunch we're going to give him. And this is the law. But if you follow this law that we're following over here, well, you're going to be in trouble. But see, we made the law and the rules, so the school district can't be in trouble, so we can't be brought up on charges for child neglect and cruelty and all that kind of stuff. But, if you did that, yeah, you could be. Because, you're the parent, so you should be able to do better, right? Look, I'm telling you, folks, this is why local elections matter, because whoever Coloradoans elected put these rules and laws into place. They just didn't appear out of thin air. Somebody had to first establish and write the bill, and then they had to promote the bill, and they had to get enough people to agree with them to pass the bill, and then they had to get somebody to sign the bill into law. So, in order to do all that, they had to all be elected first. And if they weren't elected, they were appointed. Well, somebody who was elected had to appoint the people who did this. I mean, this is why elections at all levels matter. So to qualify for the free lunch program, a family of four would have to have a household income of around $31,000 or less. To qualify for a reduced lunch program, the threshold is between $31,000 and $45,000. Now, $45,000 and you get a reduced lunch program? And if your kid forgets his lunch money, you're going to just give him a slice of cheese? $45,000 a year gets you reduced lunch gets you put on the reduced lunch program. $45K in Colorado. Now, I don't know the cost of living out there, but outside of Celebrityvilles, like probably Vail, I'm pretty sure places like Boulder and Denver are not on the same economic cost of living scale as, say, San Francisco, Boston, New York City, Miami, and Atlanta. Just saying. In Chicago. Those are expensive places where $45,000 is not a lot, but I'm going to say, in Colorado, that $45,000 is a comfortable living. New York City and San Francisco, that you're a pauper at that level, but but $45,000 in Colorado gets you on the reduced lunch. $31,000. You know what $31,000 in a year breaks down? That's about $16. It's more than $16 an hour. That's more than minimum wage, folks, that they're proposing. Yeah, we got to have a minimum wage of $15 an hour. Well, hey, $15 an hour is still going to put you on the free lunch program list. Think about that for a second. They're proposing a minimum wage that isn't going to take people out of poverty. That's just a side note, folks. Just think about it. They're proposing a minimum wage that is not going to take people off of government assistance. Think about that. Because at $31,000, you're still going to qualify for the free lunch program, which is government assistance, at your local Colorado school. Now, Curry says the students that she's helped did not qualify for either program. Kids whose parents make too much money to qualify, but a lot of times they don't have enough money to eat, she said. She said, do something different than fire her. She's trying to help. Now, I would have to agree, but I would also happen to have to ask, well, $45,000, that means if you're making, you have to make more than $45K. So when you're not qualifying for either program, so why does your kid not have lunch money? That's a separate question. I agree. I'm not going to fault her for asking that one. But at the same time, I mean, we're talking Colorado here, folks. Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, it is the marijuana capital of the USA, right? Shouldn't they be taking all the proceeds that they're getting from taxing marijuana sales and just giving every kid a free lunch? I think they're making enough money off of that. I'm just saying. There's probably enough money to do it. Oh, no, because then they would, that would be spending the money on something reasonable, like they always say. No, instead, they want to tax so-called rich people more so they can do this kind of program. And then still, not be able to fulfill everything that they promise. So that when a kid comes to school, I mean, why would you fire a lunch lady for helping out some kid who forgot his money or forgot his lunch and just couldn't afford it that day? Why would you fire And, you know, it's not like she's out there feeding the homeless illegally. She's in the lunch room. In the lunch room. In the school lunch room. I mean, if she adds it up and, you know, the kids don't come back with more money, then she takes it out of her pocket. But why would you fire her over that? For hell, look, we already, you know, we've been told over and over and over again that a kid can't study on an empty stomach. They're not a very good student on an empty stomach. So why would you send the kid back to the classroom all hungry? Think about it. You know, you claim that some kids are disciplinary problems anyway, but now you're gonna starve some other kids? Oh, Rod, they're not starving. Well, yeah. They're hungry. That's why we have lunch periods. So you're telling me that you know, this woman deserves to be fired because she fed some kids. She fed children. Now, I thought the schools were supposed to always be all about children. It's for the children. That's what I keep hearing. It's for the children. We have to do things for the children. It takes a village to raise a child. And so this woman is part of the village, and she gets fired. She's part of the village trying to raise your children, and she gets fired for it. It's not like she was supplying the food outside of school and it, you know, was contraband types of food or it was expired food or spoiled food, or she was, you know, trying to shove it down their throats, or she wasn't giving them good stuff or what have. She was giving them a free school lunch. You know, a free approved school lunch. Above and beyond the single slice of cheese on a hamburger bun and a small glass of milk. That's what she was fired for not giving out. Look, prisoners in prison get fed better than that. Think about that, folks. Here you have a law out in Colorado, the marijuana pothead capital of the country. Yeah, hey. And if you smoke pot, you know, you're supposed to have the munchies all the time, right? After you come down off your high, you get very, very hungry. Well, I don't know any pothead that's going to be able to sustain himself with a slice of cheese and a hamburger bun. Well, the kids aren't potheads, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Maybe their parents are. Maybe they get a contact high or something, and they're, you know, and we always hear all this stuff about, you know, there are a lot of children in the United States, Rod, that the only good square meals that they get are when they're in school. So they get a good breakfast in school and they get a good lunch in school. And those are the only 2 square meals that they get during that day, because when they go home, there's nothing on the dinner table. And this is the reason why they want to try to keep kids after school and have dinner programs in some districts, because, you know, these kids aren't getting proper nutrition, Rod. They're not getting meals. And so this woman gives out a free meal above and beyond the legally stated single piece of cheese on a hamburger bun, and she gets fired. She gives the kids, the innocent children, a free lunch, which is better than the legal or lawful lunch that these kids are supposed to get, which is a lot worse than criminals get. You go to any jail and a criminal is going to get a better lunch than a single piece of cheese and a hamburger bun and a small milk. Are you kidding me? I bet you prisoners in Guantanamo Bay. Well, I know prisoners in Guantanamo Bay eat better than that because some of them are getting fat. They all put on weight and were looking a lot healthier than when they were captured on the battlefield. But hell, try doing that. Well, some of those kids, Rod, can afford to miss a meal. Well, that may be, but the whole point is that that's not how you do it. Yeah, there may be some kids who are a little obese or overweight or what have you, but that you don't get them to lose weight by starving them and by making them hungry, and so hungry that they're jittery that they can't pay attention in class. Look, I know what it's like to be, when you're not prepared to be hungry, and you're hungry. I mean, you don't really concentrate on anything else but trying to find some food. Plain that's just natural human instinct. But, so $31,000 a year gets you a free lunch, and $45,000 a year gets you a reduced lunch. And, but if you make $46,000, your kid doesn't get anything except a single slice of cheese. And, see, this is why all this stuff based on income is unfair. Because what if you make $45,001 per year? You don't get the reduced lunch. But obviously that $1 over a year is not going to make you wealthier than the person who's making $39,999 a year. Or $44,000, whatever. Think about it. It's not like it's a hypothetical. That kind of crap happens all the time. Just a few dollars over the threshold. You don't qualify. What? So my $1 a week or $52 a year puts me over the limit. $50 of which, probably 20 of it's gone in taxes. And now this poor person has been relieved of her duties, so to speak, because she's feeding kids. So a parent there, Darnell Hill, says Curry had helped out his son when he forgot his lunch money. He said, "Do something different than fire her." She's trying to help people, so kids can, even parents. Well, your kids shouldn't forget their lunch money, right? Look, parents forget. Have you ever walked out of your house and forgot your wallet or your purse? I've walked out of my house and forgotten my wallet. I've walked out of my house and forgotten my keys. And thankfully, I didn't lock myself out. There have been times when I have. I had to break it back into my own place in order to get my keys. No, because you can't drive a car without keys. So, and if your house keys are on your car key chain, then you're out of luck. So if you've never forgotten your keys and never forgotten your wallet, good on you. I am so happy for you. But the vast majority of people, especially in this country, living busy lives, and we think we're living busier lives than we probably actually are, but we've probably multiple times have left the house forgetting our wallet, forgetting our keys, forgetting both, forgetting the cell phone. The cell phone is not that important. It doesn't matter. It is important to some people. And for some people, nowadays, especially all their financial information, they use the mobile wallet stuff from Apple Pay and from other things. So they don't even have to carry a wallet. But they forget the phone. They basically forgot their wallet, which means they forgot their money. So what happens? So if you forget your wallet or you forget your money, then you're not an adult. You can't just leave and go home and go get it. A teacher probably, oh, geez. Hey, Sandy, could you fill in for me for, the next 30 minutes? I got to run home and get my wallet because I forgot my wallet. No, lots of times, a fellow teacher might say, well, here's $10. Get you some lunch. Just pay me back tomorrow. Kids can't do that. Kids can't do that. You can do that. Parents. But kids can't do that. Maybe a high school student can do it a little bit. Some high school kids are friendly and cooperative like that, and they have extra money on them. But for the most part, an elementary school kid isn't going to do it, can't do it. It doesn't know how to do it, so they're not going to do it. And, evidently teachers aren't doing it either. Oh, little Johnny, you forgot your lunch money. Here, let me give you some lunch money and I'll send a note home with your parents. Nope. Instead, this woman decides to take it up on herself to pay for some poor schlub kid who forgot his lunch money. And she gets fired for it. So how does that work and how does that happen? I don't know, but it happens. And it happens enough where it was noticed where she got canned. Fired, if you will. But we're supposed to be okay with that. Because why? Because, I don't know, kids don't kids don't always remember, or do they always remember? Or you're not allowed to feed your kid. You're not allowed to feed the kids. That's it. Because if you feed the kids, well, that's a bad thing, feeding children. Because if you feed the kids, and that means that the kids are not going to be starving and they're not going to be neglected. So we can't send somebody over to the parents' home and look them up for child neglect and child abuse. So we can't take the child out of the home and indoctrinate the kid against their parents. Oh, no. You've done a bad thing by interfering with the state. I've heard this a lot too. That in most communities, it's illegal for you to put money into somebody else's parking meter. Oh yeah, they have different kinds of names for it, but it's usually interfering with public procedure or something stupid like that. And you can get a ticket for doing that. In some communities, you can actually it's an arrestable offense. So you cannot get in between the government and their prize, their prey. Kind of like Lord of the Rings.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipostick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipostick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. where the state motto is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust, which is a good thing. I'm glad it's not big government or bust, because I wouldn't be able to handle big government in my state, my wonderful little, beautiful little state. Wouldn't want big government in my beautiful little state. Hopefully we'll never have big government in my beautiful little state. In any case, the state is the Granite State of New Hampshire, and it is Hump Day, Wednesday, June the 3rd, in the year of our Lord, 2015. And if you wish to join me live, you can give me a ring, buzz, toll free at 603-835-3224. That is the number to call. You know, Sunday, I did not get a chance to watch Game of Thrones, the latest episode. So, actually, yesterday, I got to watch episode 8 of the current season, season 5, I do believe we're on. And I watched it with great trepidation and great anticipation and with great expectation, because I have been told that this is where the storyline from the TV series begins to deviate from the books as written. Now, I, having not have read any of the books as of yet, wouldn't really know where the story deviates. But the story was kind of interesting in and of itself. And if you haven't seen episode 8, then I'm going to tell you this is a spoiler alert. Now, I'm not going to tell you the whole. Actually, I think they kind of screwed up, because this would have been an awesome season finale. This episode would have been an awesome season, which means that, the season finale that they have planned that they're going to show is just going to be, is going to blow your mind. I am damn sure of that now, because I'm like, what? Let's just say that they knew winter was coming, and that in some parts north of the Great Wall, winter's there. And, it's kind of interesting, because you look at the characters in Game of Thrones, and you can kind of see the same thing and same characters in real life today here in American politics. And I'm quite sure that if you looked at, other countries' politics, that the people in those countries could probably find some similarities in their politicians as well. And I'm not here to say that Game of Thrones. Well, it's although the author, I don't think the author's Brit. I've never heard the author speak. I'm not sure he's British or not. But it's a bunch of British people playing British parts in that, and what it's loosely based on. I think it's loosely based on England at some point in time, because you have certain other places, far off lands across the narrow sea, as they call it. Could be the English Channel, but the people across the narrow sea are they have an accent that would, and they look like that they would be akin to maybe being Spaniards, possibly Arabic, but that type of look, Mediterranean. So in this last episode, there's a lot going on with Sansa Stark. She learns something from Theon Greyjoy, Reek. She learns something about her family from him. Something important. Now, it's no coincidence or accident that this information is dropped in this episode. Because we have Jon Snow, who's really Jon Stark, who's now the Lord Commander of the Black Castle and the Night's Watch. And it's kind of interesting because he's now Lord of the, basically king, warden of whatever, of the Wall. Much like his half-brother, Robb, was King of the North and Lord of Winterfell. Family just sort of exudes leaders, doesn't it? And so you have, Sansa Stark, who's now coming to her own and is a full-fledged woman who is no longer a spoiled little girl. Let me just say, she's no longer a spoiled little girl. She is quite smart, quite astute. She still has a lot to learn, but she's learning fast and she's quite savvy. Now, she also realizes where she has power, where she doesn't. And she's learning very quickly that there are people that, they're just not nice and out to get her. So I really would not underestimate her. As with her little sister, Arya, who is now off learning other things. Because, again, Arya doesn't know that the rest of her, other siblings besides Jon are alive. She thinks her whole family's gone. So she's learning something different, something new. I've always said that Arya is going to someday, she's going to be training and she's going to grow up to be a badass. And you're not going to want to mess with her. I think she's going to become a very big, huge assassin. She's training for that right now. But the point I wanted to make about this is that you have all of these, the winter. They keep talking about winter. Winter is coming. And they're not just talking about the weather. They're, when people die north of the Wall now, you have to burn their bodies. Or else they will rise as zombies that are near impossible to kill again. And that these zombies will do whatever it takes, whatever they're told. And you saw this when they were basically ordered, to attack the wildlings' city or camp. And how they had to do it. They just jumped over a cliff and did it. And you have to ask, how do you defeat something that's already dead, that's nearly impossible to kill? How do you defeat people who just mindlessly and blindly follow whatever you tell them? That's the liberal cult right there. That is a representation of the liberal cult. Now, whether or not the author of the stories intended for that comparison, I don't know. But I can see the parallel, whether he intended it or not. You just, and in some people who have this, how can I put it? Have this hard-on for a particular candidate who will not support another candidate if their candidate does not win the nomination, is pretty similar to these zombies, to these undead. And you have to ask, well, why do they do such a thing? Well, they do it because they think they believe something. They've been lied to. They've been told that, this is the way things are going to be. And they've been told that, this is just the way it is, man. This is the best way. Whether or not that is true is irrelevant. Because they're not gonna change their minds any more than the army of the dead is going to change their minds on their own. You're going to have to stop them somehow, and in this particular case, it's through the ballot box, because we're not going to use swords and try to chop them down, and there aren't any giants to stomp on them and crush their bones. But sometimes I know some people wish that there were. But I really don't want to say too much more and trying to compare the real world with the program, because I know that there are people who haven't seen it yet, and I really do not want to spoil it for those people who have not. Even though I say spoiler alert, I am not a spoiler. I'm not going. And you know what? Unless it's the last episode and it's like 2 weeks after the last. If you haven't seen it 2 weeks after it airs, then all bets are off. But I'm not. I'll go back and talk and be a spoiler for the first 7 episodes, because you should have seen them already. Just saying. But if you haven't seen episode 8, get on it. And you'll see some of the comparisons that I'm talking about. Between art, if you will, and real life. Art often imitates life, as they say. There's another poll. CNN Politics a poll from CNN. Bush is now more popular than El Presidente Obama. Yeah, I kid you not. Here's the story. President Barack Obama's job approval numbers are sinking as American attitudes about the nation's progress have taken a turn for the worst, according to a new CNN ORC poll. CNN. A majority of the public once again says things in the U.S. are going pretty badly, and disapproval of Obama's job performance has climbed back above 50%. The reality is it never really fell below, his disapproval rating never really fell below 50% once it was over. And so now they're, seeing people like, liberals are like CNN are trying to cover their collective arses, if you will. Because, hey, winter's coming for them too. According to the poll, in fact, former President George W. Bush is more popular than Obama right now. According to the poll, 52% of adults had a favorable impression, of George W. Bush, and a 43% unfavorable view. Now, when Bush left office in 2009, only about a third of Americans said that they had a positive opinion of him. There is that, the liberal media just kept pounding on Bush, George W. Bush. And since they haven't done it, because he's no longer in power, he's not in office, people have learned a little bit of the truth about what was going on, what was happening. The truth has come out, and they're saying, hey, it wasn't so bad after all. Especially after they see this guy in action. Now, this new poll presents a notable shift as Bush's overall favorability has remained well below 50% for much of his time as a presidential alumni. Overall, 47% say things in the country are going well. 52% say they are going badly. That's a reversal from March of this year, when 53% said things were going well, the highest share to say so during Obama's presidency. The shift comes across partisan and demographic lines. Of course it does, with no one group's opinions driving overall change. While it's dropped since April, going from a near even 48% to approve to 47% disapprove split, to a negative tilting 52% disapprove to 45% approve. The rising disapproval ratings come across party lines from both men and women, from whites and non-whites. And the economy continues to be the public's top issue, with 22% choosing it as the most important out of the 8 that were tested. Fewer consider it the top issue now than it did last fall, however, when 30% called it the top problem. Education ranks second. 17% say it's their top concern. Terrorism makes the list of top concerns for number 3 at 13%. Healthcare at 12%. The federal budget deficit at 10%. Illegal immigration, top concern, 8%. The situation in Iraq and Syria, 7%. And energy and environmental policies, 6%. 6% of the most important issues facing the USA today. So everybody's, they're starting to say, hey, this guy is terrible. Look, we already knew that because even the Democrats are trying to distance themselves from good old Senor Comandante Obama. And people are probably, why are you calling him Comandante Obama? Because that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a dictator. Comandante Obama. But his poll signs are falling. Speaking of falling, another person who is falling far, falling fast, falling good, in my book, is Hillary Clinton. In fact, Hillary Clinton is out there proposing voter fraud, allowing voter fraud. Yes, she is. Well, she didn't exactly say that. But here's the Newsmax.com story. Clinton to call for expanded early voting in all states. Yeah. That's akin to saying, yeah, we want more voter fraud. Hillary Clinton will call Thursday for a national standard of at least 20 days of early in-person voting, and for states to include nights and weekends in their extended voting hours. Her campaign said, in this modern day and age, Clinton is trying to tell us that, we need to expand voting because people just don't have the time. Are you kidding me? We needed to make it a national holiday so everybody has a day off, and then you know what's going to happen. Nobody's going to bother to vote because they're all going to go on a 4-day weekend. Because everybody's going to take that Monday off, and they're going to be away. Nobody's going to vote. It's not going to change. And now what you're saying is that, so if we don't get a national voting holiday, how about we just extend, voting day into days, 20 days. Call it early voting. Yes, vote early, vote often. Because it'll be so easy for people to get out there and vote if they could vote over a 20-day period. 20 days. You realize that's 3 weeks. She's proposing a 3-week, in this day and age, in this modern country, Hillary Clinton is going to call for a Banana Republic-style voting system that takes 3 weeks. I'm all for voting for, it being 3 hours. Come on, with today's technology, with today's fast cars, with today's, you can spread it out where you're voting at, the polls. It doesn't take long to do it. You can do it on your lunch hour if you really wanted to in most places. I mean, we don't need more data because all that's going to do is just allow for more voter fraud. And we know that the vast majority and bulk of the fraud is going to come from and be in favor of the Democratic Party and that side of the political aisle, plain and simple. Now, Clinton will also call on Congress to act quickly to reverse a 2013 Supreme Court ruling allowing 9 southern states to change their voting laws without federal approval, and for the adoption of recommendations put forward last year by President Obama's bipartisan commission on election administration. Oh, yeah, let's just make it a little bit more difficult for people to become a candidate. You know, that's all we were wanting to do here. And then, of course, if you lessen the candidate pool, well, then you're going to lessen the competition. Then you get more of the people that you, as far as being in power, want. Now, Clinton and other Democrats argue that Republicans are trying to make it harder for minorities to vote since they're more likely to cast ballots for Democrats. I don't know how you're making it more difficult for a minority to vote. Minority has the same opportunity to vote as a non-minority. Whether they vote for a Democrat or Republican doesn't make any difference. I don't know how it's making it, hey, you got to show ID. Oh, that's going to make it very difficult for minorities to vote, for them to show ID. No, bullshit. Yeah, I said it. It's not going to make it more difficult. More Democratic demagoguery in trying to prevent the people of this country from preventing as much possible voter fraud as they possibly can. So if you have ID, well, if you need ID in order to vote, that eliminates a lot of potential fraud right there. Got to prove who you are. It doesn't mean they can't get fake IDs, but you can. But vast majority of people aren't going to have fake IDs. And so many other things. But why are blacks and other minorities that slow that they got to take 3 weeks in order to vote? Oh, that sounds a little bit racist to me. Don't you think? Hey, are you basically what Hillary and the Democrats are saying is, either you blacks are too slow or you're too stupid to know who to vote for in one day, that it's going to take you 3 weeks in order to figure that out. Really, think about it. Republicans calling you that stupid? Nope, just Democrats.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back. Welcome back to my show, as it were. I hate to say it, but not your show, but my show. I have fun doing the show. I have a lot of fun doing this show. Yeah, sometimes, you can hear the frustration in my voice, but I, for the most part, have a lot of fun doing the show. Now, tomorrow night's show is going to be special because special guest, former Representative Colonel Alan West is expected to be joining me tomorrow. That's right. Yes, the Colonel Alan West from Florida. We'll be talking to him. He's been gracious enough to give me some of his very valuable time for us to discuss a few topics, a few issues that are on his mind. And it'll be an honor to be speaking to Colonel West tomorrow. So be here. Tell your friends about it. Now, continuing with Hillary Clinton who's calling for expanded early voting. You know, one of the things I find interesting is that, well, in her speech tomorrow, she's expected to call out Republican efforts to rein, basically to cut back on early voting. And she's going to talk about, bring out steps that were taken in the states of North Carolina, Texas, and Wisconsin. She says it's creating more obstacles for some people to vote. Now, she'll note that early voting can help alleviate long lines at the polls, an issue that's been particularly problematic in Florida in recent events. About 20 million voters took advantage of early voting in 2014. 14 states do not allow voting in any form. Now, Clinton's speech comes after her campaign's top lawyer filed lawsuits challenging voting laws in Ohio and Wisconsin on behalf of Democratic votes, or groups. So basically, my question is that Hillary's saying that Democrats are too stupid to be able to figure out how to vote on voting day. Well, you can't really, figure it out any other way than that. There's only two reasons for Democrats wanting to have early voting. And the two reasons are either because it's easier to commit voter fraud, or they're just too stupid to figure out how to vote on one day like everybody else. Now, these long lines, well, that's having early voting isn't going to alleviate long lines in Florida, but, making sure that everybody who's in line gets the opportunity to vote is good, but people need to get out early. Don't wait till the last half hour or so. Have more polling places then. You don't vote longer, you just have more polling places. That seems to make more sense to me. If you have a district of 100,000 people, well, instead of having 3 polling places, how about having 10? No, that might make things a little bit easier and the lines a little bit smaller, yes? It's just common sense to me. It's not common sense to say, well, yeah, we just need to have more days that we can vote. So basically what you're saying is that you just want more opportunity to commit voter fraud. That's all you're saying. I get it. A lot of people get it. But I'm not for it. And I'm not for it simply because I do get it. You want to be able to make it a little bit easier to commit some voter fraud out there, because Democrats like to cheat. And look, this has been factual. This has been proven in courts of law that Democrats really out-cheat Republicans. They do. And nobody should cheat, to tell you the truth. Just be honest about it, because it's not fair to cheat. But, it robs the American people of their choice. It's not about just you or me. It's about the entire country. I know, and sometimes the country gets it wrong, but, it's the country's right to get it wrong, if you know what I mean. And we shouldn't have people out there who are trying to game the system or trying to force something on the people when the people don't want it. I could never understand that. All it really is about it's not about serving the people. It's nothing more than about power, plain and simple. That's all it's really about. It's about the power and having a little bit of power and putting that power in my hands where I can twist it and mold it and make it into mine. And then with that power that I have twisted and molded and made mine, I can get you to do anything I want because I have the power. And that's what it's all about. It's simply about power. Not about anything. It's not about serving you. It's not about serving the American people. It's about ruling over you and making, look, and people putting their own stamp of approval on government politics or policy by making up their own rules and regulations or laws and getting them passed. That's what it's all about. Hey, Obamacare sticker shock is coming. And now this is CNN money, by the way. And now all of a sudden, people are caring about this. Look, I'm not even good. Well, yeah, I am. I'm going to say it. I told you that this was going to happen. I told you. There, I said it. I told you. Obamacare sticker shock. Big rate hikes proposed for 2016. In Florida alone, United Healthcare is looking for an 18% increase. In Texas, Humana is looking for a 30% increase. Oh, by the way, just as a side note, for all you Apple people out there who liked Macs and Apple products because they're not the butt of virus attacks and such, well, those days are over. There is evidently a new nasty computer bug out there that attacks Apple computers. Not PCs. But look, told you that was going to happen too, especially when Steve Jobs died. Yeah, that was going to, he probably paid off all the people who, a lot of the people who wrote bug. I can't prove it, but I wouldn't put it past me that if he did that in order to keep people out of Mac, but Mac computers, Apple computers. But it seems like now there is this big bug out there that's attacking Mac computers. So if you have a Mac computer, I would be wary of where you go and what you download. Just saying as a public service announcement from yours truly. But anyway, back to the Obamacare sticker shock. Many insurers want to substantially hike rates on Obamacare policies for 2016. Yeah, we knew this was coming, folks. And we knew it wasn't going to be pretty. And those of us who were railing against Obamacare's passage told everybody that this type of thing was going to happen. It wasn't going to, if it was going to be cheap, it wasn't going to be cheap at all for very long. And it's not cheap, and it's getting less cheap as the years go by. We're only heading into year 3 of this thing. And, we've seen massive hikes already before this one. And now comes another one. Many are proposing double-digit premium increases for individual policies, with some companies looking to boost rates more than 60%, according to a list posted Monday by the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. In Florida, for instance, United Healthcare wants to raise the rates of plans sold on the Obamacare exchange by an average of 18%. Now, the exchanges are not cheap already. They're not cheap. And well, yeah, Rod, but some people get subsidies. Well, that's a bunch of BS, too, because the taxpayer is still picking up the rest of the tab. Individual policies available outside the exchange, though, through United Healthcare or through a broker would go up by 31% on average, with hikes as high as 60% for certain plans in certain locations. In Texas, insurer Scott & White is looking for a 32% increase for exchange-based plans, while Humana is asking for a 30% boost for its exclusive provider organization policies, which generally cover only in-network services. Now, insurers say they want to hike rates because enrollees are going to the doctor. Get this part. Insurers say they want to hike rates because enrollees are going to the doctor, getting lab work, and filling prescriptions more than they had originally anticipated. I told you that was also going to happen. But no, nobody bothers listening to all the conservative pundits who were calling it as we saw it, and we called it accurately, by the way. But no, we were all just, selfish, loathing, American loathing, poor people hating, non-caring, profiteering kinds of Republican trash is what we were called. Basically. But the truth is that we were none of those things, but we were seeking the truth, and we knew what the truth was going to be, and we knew the truth was going to be this. And people were going to wonder, well, hey, I don't, if I'm going to be covered by this government program, I'm going to go to a doctor. Because it's free! But it ain't free. Now, we've seen a great pent-up demand for services, says Aaron Bilger, spokesman for Highmark, a Blue Cross Blue Shield licensee offering plans in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and West Virginia. Enrollees in Obamacare exchange plans use more health care than those in job-based policies, he noted. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, see what I did there? That was... You should know the movie that's from. If you don't, watch a few Jim Carrey movies. But basically, let me read that statement again. This is from money.cnn.com. We've seen a great pent-up demand for services, said Aaron Bilger, spokesman for Highmark, a Blue Cross Blue Shield licensee offering plans in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and West Virginia. Enrollees, he says, in Obamacare exchange plans. Enrollees in Obamacare exchange plans. Enrollees in Obamacare exchange plans use more health care services than those in job-based policies. I also told you way back then in 2009, 2010 that people were going to abuse the system. That they were going to go to the doctor. If they didn't have to pay out of their pocket, which is the whole point of Obamacare in the first place, then they were going to go to the doctor when they really didn't need to. This wasn't going to cut back on emergency room visits. This wasn't going to cut back on unnecessary doctor visits. This wasn't going to cut back on all of these unnecessary procedures and tests. In fact, it's only increased, and it increased exactly the way I said it was going to increase and why it was going to increase. And now here we've got the proof. All that stuff is increasing. And who's increasing it? The people who I said were going to increase it in the first place. And bingo, bango, bongo, and Irving. I was right yet again. And for those of you who do not believe me, maybe you should spend some time in my archives over on Blog Talk Radio, going all the way back to 2009. They're over there, folks. You can listen to the shows. And you will hear me rant and rave and rant and rave about Obamacare and how we don't want it, don't need it, and when we got it, how I was ranting and raving that we need to get rid of it. And that it wasn't going to be cheaper. It was going to end up costing us more. It wasn't going to be as cheap as people thought. It wasn't going to be as free as people thought. And people were not going to get the same kind of care that they thought. And certain people were going to start using the system even more than they are now. And the cost is going to rise. And lo and behold, it's as if I was given divine guidance. Because everything I've said about Obamacare is coming to pass. Everything, and unless you think that I am some sort of special prophet, I am not. I am just a thinking man. I think logically. And just about every constitutional-loving, conservative pundit out there was saying the exact same thing. So it's not as if I was on the fringe. I was in pretty good company. They all told us that this was going to be a disaster. It was going to be, more expensive than we think, than they planned, than they budgeted for. That it wasn't going to lower the cost. It was going to increase the cost because people are going to end up using the system even more than they are now. And all of that has happened. All of that has come to pass, as it were. Now, insurers submitted their proposed rate hikes for individual policies sold both on and off Obamacare exchanges for review by state officials. Now, the government's list includes insurers that requested increases of 10% or more. So, If insurance can opt to offer plans, insurers can opt to offer plans on the exchanges directly or via both methods, but policies with similar coverage must be priced the same. So rates for Obamacare plans have been watched closely, of course, and their affordability hotly debated since the exchanges first opened in 2014. I don't know how it's debated. Either they're affordable or they're not. Insurance had a tough time setting rates in the first 2 years because they didn't have a lot of data on how much customers would visit the doctor. Now they can base their prices on actual usage. Some insurers may have underestimated and set their prices way too low in 2014 and in 2015, but they're trying to make up for the cost differential now. Because, they don't want to be stuck with the bill all the time. Paying out of pocket. In a way, I think they're trying to reverse this trend by saying, well, this is what it really cost. Because a lot of insurance companies, jumped on board of this single payer Obamacare thing. They kind of liked it. They thought it was going to be the way to go. And that they would save themselves and their industry, that if they went along with Obama, not fully paying attention to the notion and the fact that Obama was trying to raise and destroy their industry so he could pick it up out of the ashes and take care of it via the government. That's what it was all about. That's what it's all about, folks. So Obama's not exactly upset that there are these rate hikes. Trust me on this, he's not. He can see it too. He can see, well, yeah, there a lot of people aren't going to be able to get to be able to afford these new rates. And I'll be able to come in and say, see, this is why we need a single payer system here in the United States. Look, this is where it's headed. They've forecasted this. They've foreshadowed this. They've told us point blank that they've even voted for it already in a state. They want single payer, whether you want it or not, because they want control of healthcare. Because if they have control of healthcare, they have control of a lot. If they have control over healthcare, they get to control you about the way you live, the way you eat, the way you dress. Probably they'll come up with all kinds of rules and regulations that you're going to have to follow if you want healthcare coverage. They're not going to make exceptions for you. Plain and simple, because they want to take it. They want to take your life over. So there's not going to be a waiver. When it comes time to single payer system, there isn't going to be a waiver. Folks, I'm telling you, you better wake up. You better start pressing your senators and representatives to repeal this crap, to defund this crap, because it's going to drain your wallet. It's going to drain it big time. You're going to be worse off, not better. We're already seeing some people are worse off. Some people are paying much higher deductibles. They're paying higher premiums. They're getting less coverage. fewer hospitals and doctors available to them. This is no joke anymore, really. And the insurance companies are telling us, hey, look, this is not as great as we thought it was going to be. In fact, it's a lot worse. We kind of assumed that, it was going to make things more affordable. People would be happy with the coverage that they get, knowing that they have coverage should something go wrong, so they wouldn't be going to the doctor for the sniffles. Instead, it was just the opposite. Because people were saying, well, geez, maybe I've been told all my life I should try to catch diseases like cancer early. So something's wrong with me. I don't know. And now I got insurance. I better go check it out. That's what it's all about. Because people that haven't regularly used the system before are now saying, well, I've had this problem before and this problem before, and now I can afford to go. So we're going to use the system. And they're not going to stop, folks. This is going to continue. And as more people join the exchange, and as more people are forced to get on the exchange, more people are going to be going to the doctor. There are going to be fewer doctors in order to see all these patients. And so the whole cost of the system is going to continue to skyrocket. You can mark this day down so that in 2 years from now, when we're looking again at this stuff and we see that there's another 60% increase or what have you, I can say again, look, I told you so, and you'll know exactly where to go in order to get the details on I told you so. Because, 4 or 5 years ago, I told you so, and today, guess what? I'm right. And so another 2 or 3 or, I don't think it's going to take 4 or 5 years again. I'll be able to say I told you so again. Plain and simple, folks. That's the way it works. Well, I'm out of time. We'll be back here tomorrow with Colonel Alan West. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.